fans getting it in early, early rise, early shine, all that good stuff. Your boy is dealing with a hurricane threat, so no work today. Taking the day off to do some household chores. Try to get ready for the old storm that's up brewing down in the Gulf. So your boy was up, too excited, and said, "You know what? Let's talk to the people. Let's talk a little sports. Let's get our mind off the weather and try to, you know, relax for a little bit. Take a little, take a little quick little relaxer, as they say. Take it easy for the first little bit. Try to start off the day right. Start off in a good mood. So let's talk a little sports. What's been happening? What happened in the NFL? Let's get it. Let's go. The Minnesota Vikings played the New York Jets in what can only be described as a very, very close battle that didn't really actually be very close. So the scoreboard is going to say 23-17. It's going to suggest the Jets may have been in it at some point, but it's really just kind of a dog walk for the Minnesota Vikings. It really wasn't, the Jets defense tried the best they could do, and the results is still pretty much a touchdown loss. I believe the line on that was 5.5, so that's one of those just barely clearers, barely get over the hurdle of some amazing football. So shout out to the Vikings for getting my pick correct. Speaking of correct picks, we did have a dogfight Sunday at 1 o'clock, and we really kind of thought it was going to be. I didn't think it would be this close, but I did get the winner right. And that is going to be the Carolina Panthers versus the Chicago Bears. The Carolina Panthers did not come to play. They did not show up at all. I don't know why I thought Andy Dalton had rejuvenized this Carolina Panthers team. I thought the old Red Rocket had brought enough back to Carolina to be a legitimate team. Nah, they're back to being who we knew they were. If we're gonna be honest, they're back to being exactly who we thought they were. Carolina Panthers, one of the worst teams in the NFL. Just trash written all over it. Speaking of trash teams, the New England Patriots lost to the Miami Dolphins 15-10. 15-10. It's disgusting. It's terrible to see. And we'll tell you why. Because the Miami Dolphins don't have a quarterback. They don't have anything that resembles a quarterback. They don't have anything that would suggest they should be talked about with any sort of respect. Then we got a couple comments on. Andrew, shout out to you. First commenter, hi back to you. And Coolest, who you got in the boxing? What boxing match? You got to be a little more specific. I need a little more specific on the boxing match. Coolest, I can't say your name. Coolissy? Your boy sounded very uneducated trying to read that. That was a tough one. And so it was a tough one being the New England Patriots trying to just do anything. Do anything. Next on the list, the Washington Commanders bullying, dog walking the Cleveland Browns, 34-13. Jaden Daniels, boy, I tell you what, had him as a rookie of the year, and Really thought it would be a little bit closer of a conversation, but it looks like I'm walking away with this one. Bival versus Beterbiev. To be honest with you, Optia versus Macy. I'm not a I'm a very casual boxing guy, and I'm not familiar with any of the four gentlemen, so I'm not going to blow smoke and try to give you a prediction that I don't like. Diddy said I like a good tight end. look, look, trolls, take a note. Take a note. Take a note. This is how it's done. Diddy versus the judge. I'm going the judge. Look, Diddy's got a lot of money to pay for some lawyers, right? So, gives them a fighting chance and whatnot. But boy, ooh, the old diddler. I think I'm gonna pick the judge on this one. I think it'll be a close match. I think the diddler messed up and put a lot of his evidence on tape for him. See, what's surprising to me is he's old school, right? He's older than me. He's before my time. But back in my day, we even started getting into that we can record things generation. And when I was younger, I would stay away from cameras. Okay, it's the easy way to get away with things is if you don't film it. Do I watch BKFC, the Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship? A little bit. So there's a dude from my hometown, from my home city, Kansas City, that occasionally gets into fights or occasionally does the bare knuckle boxing thing. So I follow him. And I do loosely. It's interesting because you want to talk about a real boxing match. That's a little more real boxing match to me. You see, Hunt is coming back. Yeah, he is. Why he wears sunglasses? For two reasons. One, it's like my streaming uniform. I wear the sunglasses so I can do it. And two, I'm in the sunny state of Florida, and eventually the sun's going to poke his head right in my face while I'm trying to stream. So it makes it a little easier for me to do. It's just one of those consistency things. I usually do it at night where I have a light facing directly in my face. And it's just, keeps me feeling cool, to be honest with you. Mike Hunt versus Hugh Jonas for heavyweight. That's pretty legit. And my boy fights in the heavyweight category. So it's always fun to see the big boys throw those bare knuckles. Yeah, I've become a casual. It's easier for me to get, I'm real big into the NFL. So like during the NFL season, I get distracted. I get heavily into the games, trying to get these accurate predictions. Like check this one out. And you can watch the Sunday morning show. This is the last live. And find this Arizona Cardinals versus San Francisco 49ers game. Well, I told you to bet the 49ers, or told you to bet the Cardinals. And the Cardinals won. Now, this isn't because I thought the Cardinals. Who are you tipping to win the NFL season? Now, I've gotten the matchup right for like the last, I think it's 5 or 6 years. I've been pretty good. It helps that I'm a Chiefs fan. But I do believe we're going to see a Kansas City Chiefs versus Detroit Lions Super Bowl. Now, my co-host that's usually on, he believes it's going to be a Chiefs-Packers Super Bowl. So we're real heavy in that NFC North. And look, these Vikings ain't no joke all of a sudden either. Crazy to think about. But I think it's Kansas City Chiefs versus the Detroit Lions. Like that kind of combination is it's got so much poetry to it. It's got so many storylines you can go down with the Chiefs versus the Lions. Now, obviously, the NFL would probably prefer someone besides the Kansas City Chiefs, so that could hit it. Keemster, hey, look at that. Hey, we got Trey in the house. Look at that. A shout out to Trey. He's a longtime fan. He's finally caught one of these early ones. Every once in a while, I do one of these real early funky streams. I wake up and start thinking sports, and I don't have to work today. I got a hurricane coming in. I probably should work, but I'm gonna take the day to take care of the house first. You know what I mean? I got to take care of myself first. Need to go fill up some sandbags and do all that kind of stuff. Get ready for this hurricane. But besides that, just chilling, waking up, getting excited. The Cardinals beating the 49ers. Got your boy got your boy to start streaming early in the morning. I woke up. It was just like I still can't believe I made that pick. So yesterday, I'm looking at the betting odds yesterday to see where people, see who's betting who. And what do I see? What do I see? I see the Carolina Cardinals, or the Arizona Cardinals, excuse me. I don't know why that came out so funky. See the Arizona Cardinals playing the San Francisco 49ers, had a 99%, 100% bet rate on the 49ers. Nobody, absolutely nobody, was picking the Cardinals. They're at least not betting them. And I said, you know what? I don't know if the NFL is rigged, but if it is, I don't know if it is, but if it is, the Arizona Cardinals is going to win this game. There's nothing on paper. 49ers are what? 7-point favorites against the Arizona Cardinals? There's nothing on paper you can really point to for the Cardinals to beat the 49ers. But if I see the paper saying everybody's going to bet the 49ers, maybe I follow Vegas. Maybe I hedge the other side. Maybe I say let's go the other way. Sometimes you got to take the road less traveled by. And when you see 100%, it was reported as 100%. Now that means it's probably like 99.5. You know what I mean? Something like that. But when you see that, even if you disagree, look, I think the 49ers should win that game. Even if you disagree, you got to go with the team that has 100%. Do you know anything about Davante Adams? A little bit. I've been following the situation closely, simply because the Kansas City Chiefs really could use a wide receiver. So you want to listen to it. I think Davante Adams is done with the Raiders. I think he's mentally checked out. I think he does not want to play for a bullshit team. He does not want to see his career wasted in Vegas. And I can respect that. I completely respect it. I think the teams you got to look out for are the obvious kind of situations. You're really looking at like the Jets. The Jets with Aaron Rodgers makes sense. Going to the Saints makes even more sense somehow, because he gets to follow Derek Carr again. And he's a fan of Derek Carr. He wants to play with him. You know what I mean? And that makes a bit of a difference. When we looked at Tyreek Hill, he wanted to go to the Dolphins. He liked Miami. And if you've ever been to Miami, you understand why he went. You understand, as someone that's been to Kansas City, lived there for decades, and as someone who's been to Miami multiple times, I understand it. I completely understand. So Davante Adams is probably looking for some familiarity, sense of success. I like the Saints for it. If the Saints decide to come up with a draft capital, I still think Davante Adams, even with a pretty heavy contract, he's still that dude. He's shown he's that dude with bums, with all the bums. So I really think you're right, Trey. I think he just hates the Raiders and he's ready to go. You look like you haven't missed a day not doing drugs. Depends on the definition of drugs. Depends on what you want to call drugs. I drink a lot of coffee. There's caffeine there. Do you drink coffee? Do you count the old CBD as drugs? Smoke cigarettes, so there's nicotine, there's drugs in that. And I do take an aspirin a day to keep the doctor away. So I guess, Kane, technically, you're probably right. But if you thought it was anything that wasn't on the list that I just listed, it's not it. Yeah, it's football talk, not drug talk. Yeah, that's all I'm saying, Trey. I know. You gotta laugh at the trolls. It's all we can do. In baseball, we would call that a swing and a miss. You know. In football, we'd call that a unsportsmanlike penalty for showing your ass on the field. You know? What are you going to do? Oh, well, let's get back into football. Let's talk about it. What did you think about that Houston Texans versus Buffalo Bills game? Like, this is a crazy one. This one I really thought would show what both teams are made of. And it pretty much came out exactly like I thought it would. This 20-23 score. Houston Texans beating the Buffalo Bills 23-20. I thought this would, you're a good sport. Hey, I appreciate it. You know, look, I've been doing it long enough that you're not the first troll. If you scroll up, we had a Diddy troll, and that one was spectacular. That was a little better. Like it was a great example of how trolls should be done. So make sure you check out the old Diddy commenter. Do a little scrolling. But don't be Googling Diddy. That's going to take you to the wrong place. Ravens versus Bengals was a good game. Yeah, man, I touched on it just briefly a little bit earlier, but man, I thought the Ravens would win, and I thought they would do it a little more decisively. You know, I didn't predict overtime. And look, Lamar Jackson tried to give the game to the Bengals. He tried. And the Bengals said, no. We don't want it. You can have it back. And missed field goal in overtime. It doesn't get better than that. Like, what are we talking about? Anytime the Bengals lose, I get a little excited. There's some teams I hate more than others, and the Bengals absolutely fall into that category. They truly do. Like it was crazy to see. I thought the Ravens were gonna win by like 10 points. I thought they were gonna walk away with that one. Bengals haven't looked that great, and man, and Derek was good. Yeah, Derrick Henry is starting to look like that guy that we thought he would look like, right? When I heard Derrick Henry to the Ravens, I said that's a match made in heaven. You cannot get a better place for Derrick Henry to go. And when they opened, so week one was Kansas City Chiefs versus the Ravens. I think that was game one, if I'm not mistaken. And I was kind of surprised at the lack of touches by Derrick Henry. Like it blew my mind. Looked like him in his prime. Trey, you're preaching over here. You are preaching, brother. Look. Tell me that this weekend, last week, you almost, what was it, 199 last week? Come on, bro. Like, dear Lord. Derrick Henry with Lamar Jackson gives you two top 5 running backs? Let's be honest. Lamar Jackson is probably a top 5 running back in the league. If we're going to be completely honest, top 10 at the very minimum. The very minimum, you got 2 top 10. And a guy that can throw the ball. Like, people hate on Lamar Jackson's arm, but he is strong, and he's definitely NFL level for a reason. Look like in his prime, bro. Like, that is just, it is crazy to see. Like, I don't know why they didn't run the ball versus the Chiefs that hard. They should have really have done that one. They should have done that one. Maybe make it to the Super Bowl. Look, it's not impossible. I mean, the problem. This is the Ravens' problem, bro. Patrick Mahomes, Sir Patrick Mahomes, and that Kansas City Chiefs defense. Lamar Jackson's kryptonite is Patrick Mahomes. You see it all, like we've seen it repeatedly. Yeah, it's just, it doesn't make sense. On paper, Baltimore's probably got the better team, right? Like, let's just be honest. Call a spade a spade. Now, the Chiefs not having Rashid Rice might be a question. That might be a factor. But is it? You know? What? And I'm going to be completely honest with you. The addition of Derrick Henry made me slightly nervous, but the Kansas City Chiefs have shown they can stop Derrick Henry. They can stop Lamar Jackson. They've even shown they can stop them together. Like, something about that defensive line, when they play Baltimore, they step it up. Chris Jones loves to take on Lamar Jackson. It's wild. It's crazy to see. But another thing that was crazy to see is Joe Flacco going toe-to-toe with these Jacksonville Jaguars. I thought the Colts might even win this one. Travis isn't as good, though. So that's different from last year. It is. But I talked on this a little bit yesterday. Travis only's got to be good in the playoffs. Travis only has to be good when the games start counting, you know. And he's shown flashes of it. We've seen it this season. Well, last week, he put up yards last week. Rare event, you know. He's been a lot of dud games going into it. But if you look at Travis Kelce's career, he does this at points every season. Every 1,000-yard season, you'll find games where he only had 30 yards. You know, what was it? I think it was last season where he was just short of 1,000 yards. Still looked like typical Travis Kelce last year, right? What, did he have a game that was 4 touchdowns for 35 yards? 4 catches for 35 yards, 4 touchdowns. Like that's the kind of game that Travis Kelce can put up. He's not afraid to have some bad games. That doesn't define Travis Kelce. Now, usually, it's not to start the season, right? Usually, we got to wait a little bit. You know, week 8, he puts up a dud, you know, something like that. And let's be honest, Travis Kelce's 35. Travis Kelce's traveling the world, you know what I mean? Like, it's hard, you know. I'm slightly older than Travis Kelce by a few years. And it catches up to you, man. It catches up to you. And I can only imagine being hit by a 25-year-old that's 260 pounds and runs a 4.7. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if I'd probably try it for the millions, but mentally, my body is saying that would hurt. That would hurt at this age. And I'm only, I'm like 2-3 years older than Travis. So it makes me a little nervous. Nothing can last forever. You know, especially in the NFL. We've got there's no player that played forever. Tom Brady came pretty close, but there's no player that just did it his entire life. You know what I mean? So one day Travis Kelsey will fall off. It will happen. I don't know if it's this year, but it definitely makes you wonder about next. Got questions. And then Pat Mahomes, he's slowly working up there. One day he won't be there. I've got another decade of just that Patriot level talking poop, where I can be excited, where I can say that, yay, we're going to win the Super Bowl this year. And then it's back to being typical Kansas City Chiefs. I thought the Jets would have upsetted the Vikings. But it's crazy. I did not. I did not see it at all. I didn't see it as a possibility. And when we started, I started my stream yesterday, probably 10 minutes before the game started. And it was by accident, too. I forgot they were even playing in London. And everybody picked the Jets. There wasn't a lot of people, but they picked the Jets. They were on the Jets bandwagon. One was because he was a Lions fan, so naturally he can't he can't pick the Vikings. He's open for the Jets. So I allowed that excuse. I can't argue with that. I suggest he makes that pick 99% of the time. But it was interesting to see how it was going. The Vikings didn't walk away with it as quite as easily as I thought they would. It really wasn't that close of a game, but the Vikings are Sam Darnold is going to get paid. He's getting paid. He's balling out. Justin Jefferson, he found a way to get someone a huge contract. Shout out to that. It gives you a lot of questions. What you going to do with J.J. McCarthy next season, right? What do you think they're going to do with it? They have good players, but they just can't get it done. Yeah, and that's like typical Vikings fashion, right? If we go historically, nobody's worried about the Vikings. Nobody loses any sleep about the Vikings in the playoffs. Let's be honest. Let's be completely honest. It's just not there. It's really not there. Let's see. What other games pop out to me? Ooh, that Sunday night game. Did you check that one out? Cowboys versus Pittsburgh. I tried to tell him. Try to warn him. I already know my co-host, Dude with a Beard, picked Pittsburgh. I know he did. But I need to watch his pick video, because I didn't. He couldn't make the pick show, so he just released it as a video. And I want to see if he picked the Giants over the Seahawks. He might have picked the Giants over the Seahawks. I wonder if he got that one right. I tried telling people, you want to see the Chiefs versus the Vikings. That'd be a good game. Look, I like that Kansas City Chiefs defense. I'm worried about the offense. I really am. The offense has me nervous. We're missing a few people. Missing Rashid Rice, Hollywood Brown, Isaiah Pacheco. You start listing all these weapons that you kind of, I felt real confident with Rashid Rice. Isaiah Pacheco, he's a top 10 running back in the league. A lot of Chiefs fans are much higher on him than I am personally, but I think he's very serviceable. I think he runs hard. I like his spirit. You know, when he came into the league, he said, "I'm here to take another grown man's job," and he meant it. He knew that boy meant it. You know what I mean? And he did it. So shout out to him. But you start looking around the Chiefs offense, and it's looking a lot like last year, where there's no weapons to be found. Even worse, like if you think about it, like with the regression of Travis Kelce, or the possible regression. I'm not saying it's there yet, but it is a concern. Like with the possible regression of Kelce, what weapons do you have on offense? What, Kareem Hunt? I get a little scared. Xavier Worthy, you get a rookie wide receiver that weighs 165 pounds. Like, oof, makes you scared. Pacheco gone. It's definitely going to be bad. Kind of. It is and it isn't to me, because the Chiefs are not really it's not a run team. If you tell Andy Reid he can't run the ball, he's not very disappointed, if we're going to be honest, right? Like, Andy Reid doesn't mind. He doesn't mind. He likes to pass the ball. So not having Pacheco is, look, it doesn't make the team better in any way, not having Pacheco, right? There's no way you can make that argument. But, they'll come in with something. They don't have to run much. It's those short yardage situations you're worried about. And that young guy still seems to be able to do okay-ish in short yardage. He runs hard like Pacheco. I like that. And Kareem Hunt has shown last season he can be a goal line back. He has no problem with that. I'm kind of okay with it. I'm okay with it. I'm all right with the running situation. I can live with it. But, just having Xavier Worthy, Watson is an okay, like, number 5 wide receiver that is probably going to have to play like a number 3 again. Hardman's having a little trouble too. He's not the healthiest, and look, never really did anything. Sky Moore is junk. Kansas City Chiefs got some questions, and it makes me wonder if they're going to pick up Amari Cooper from the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns have converted all of Amari Cooper's contract money into bonus money. So he's like a $600,000 cap hit. I got to go. I'll catch you on the next one. Hey, appreciate you popping in, Trey. Nice to see you again. You enjoy your day. I hope it's a good one for you. We should be live tonight at like 9 p.m. Eastern approximately, probably like 9:30 if you want to hit us up later. I know we're going to go over all the games again. Or maybe not. It is Chiefs night. We might take the night off. So I appreciate you popping in. Let's see what else we got on the board. Green Bay Packers beat the Los Angeles Rams. I got that pick right. With the Rams just missing so many players, it's awfully hard to pick the Rams. It makes it almost impossible, really, especially against a good Green Bay team. Green Bay's been very legitimate this season, and it's very impressive to see. The 49ers, let's see, let's skip the 49ers. We already talked about that one. Let's do the Denver Broncos versus the Las Vegas Raiders. Talk about a disappointing one. The old Broncos found a way. Bo Nix had his first game where he looked like an NFL quarterback. Now, you got to put an asterisk around it because there's a lot of questions if we can really call the Raiders an NFL team. You want to talk about one of the worst teams in the NFL? The Raiders are trying to run away with that. They're trying to argue that that's them. It's wild to see. It's completely wild to see. Like it's just the Raiders have turned into complete trash, and it'll be very questionable if I can legitimately pick them to win another game this year. Another disappointing one was that Thursday night game, man. Ugh, talk about a heartbreaker for me. The Falcons beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in overtime, 36-30. I was high on this is the hard part of trying to pick the Bucks, man. Anytime it looks like they should lose, you pick them to win. And anytime they should win, you might as well pick them to lose. Like it's gone bad. It's gone completely bad. But I think that's most of the games here. Let's see. I think we hit on all the scores at least. I'm going to pull up some headlines and see what the headlines are saying. I know I've seen a lot of Bills talk about firing old Sean McDermott. They are starting to be tired of that situation. They're starting to be done with that whole storyline. And I don't blame them. I truly, truly don't. I truly, truly don't blame them. Let's see what the highlights are. What are the big storylines? Deshaun Watson finished with a QBR of 8.6. The second time this season he has had a single-digit QBR. His best QBR through 5 games this season is 37.1. To put that in perspective, Watson's best game is rated worse than now bench Gardner Minshew's overall QBR. Can't even beat out Gardner Minshew. It's crazy. It is crazy. Josh Allen in a loss versus the Texans. 9 for 30 for 131, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions, and 54 yards. Dear Lord. Dear Lord, 9 for 30. 9 for 30. Ooh, imagine trying to say that out loud and think that's a legit, like, just, man, what a performance. What a performance. The Seahawks had a 101-yard return or fumble return for a touchdown. So the Giants had fumbled in the end zone, and the Seahawks took it and ran. Derrick Henry had a 51-yard run to seal the Ravens' victory in overtime. The Vikings picked off Aaron Rodgers to end it in London. That was pretty entertaining to watch. Very rough game for him. Joe Burrow, despite the loss, went 30 for 39 for 392 yards, 5 tutties, 1 interception, and a 137 QBR. Can't blame it on Joe Burrows. It ain't Joe Burrows. It's just the Bengals are gonna Bengal. We done told you. The Bengals are gonna Bengal. TJ Watt made it into the 100 sack club. And JJ Watt said, "Welcome to the Sack Club. New guy buys everyone a car." Hey, that's just the way it goes. Little brotherly love there. The Giants blocked a game-tying field goal and take it to the house to beat the Seahawks. Pretty wild to think about. Ooh. Jordan Lewis talking a little trash. He's a Cowboy playing against the Pittsburgh Steelers. And then on the way to the locker room, he said, Pittsburgh needs a receiver. George Pickens is weak. And to be honest with you, I'm not huge on George Pickens either. He has games where it does, but it's just ain't to me. Oh, Jordan Love had a very Doones moment. This was a rough play. He's trying to avoid his safety, but he ends up throwing a pick six. So he's in the end zone, falling over, throws the ball, and it gets intercepted at like the 3-yard line for a pick six. Caleb Williams had a nice deep pass to DJ Moore. Greg Zuerlein had just like a very entertaining practice kick. It was crazy. Cheerleaders are in the way, trying to cause do the little halftime performance, and he doesn't let it phase him. Kicks it, hits the field goal, and it's good. Practice though. In practice, we're talking practice. Oh, so it's pretty interesting. Just Deshaun Watson being terrible. Let's see. Ooh, Patrick Surtain II had a pick six that was pretty spectacular. Pretty spectacular. I might do little interceptions of the week video. Some of these have been nasty. Let me see. Well, that's about it for the headlines for today, folks. Appreciate everybody that's popped in for this early morning stream. And I hope y'all enjoy your day. Prayers for everybody in Florida. Let this hurricane go a different way. Your boys got to run. Sandbag time, boys.